and thank you so much for joining us today for our first course session. Before we start, I'd just like to say a little bit of housekeeping. So on offer today, we've got the course information sessions where you'll get super in-depth information that's going to cover all courses that are presented by the course leaders and by alumni. There's going to be some school tours. The meeting point is actually just in front of those large stairs in the foyer, just out these doors here. And they're going to be running every 15 minutes. So check the tour times and they'll be at the tour meeting point. We also, which is super exciting, have some student productions today. We have 4 shows across the day. And so you can see our students in action behind the stage and on the stage in the winter production season. There are limited tickets due to availability and seating, but make sure that you can get some and you'll get in. And if you've booked tickets already, and you haven't picked them up, then please make your way to the box office immediately after this session. And if you do, please head to the venue prior to the production start time with your tickets. And if you'd like to see a show and you haven't booked, then please see our ticketing staff in the foyer. They're just near the main entrance after this session. And if you can no longer see a show, then just return the ticket to a ticketing staff in the foyer so someone else can go. We also have Q&A and behind the scenes sessions. We have 3 sessions where you can meet our maker students and key creatives of the productions of Photograph 51, Checklist of an Armed Robber, and No Particular Order. You can learn more about costumes, set design, lighting design, sound design, stage management, and what it takes to put on a show. We also have class demos and tasters, various demos across the day. So drop into class demos and learn some key exercises in voice, movement, lighting, makeup, etc. They're all in the program, so you can check them out today. We also have some alumni panels. So it's the opportunity to meet and hear from alumni and ask them all the questions about their experiences here at NIDA. We have some food and beverages. We've got food and drinks available for purchase in the Northern Car Park, which is just outside, including coffee and Burgerhead Burgers. The cafe, Laz's, is also open in the foyer with food and beverage options. We also have info desks. So in the foyer, there are a bunch of info desks staffed by key staff, including the course leaders, the tutors, student services, recruitment services, and students. You can meet the NIDA staff and ask any further questions you might have on applications, scholarships, any questions you have. Go for it. And if you need help, please just head to our reception or welcome desk for any questions you have, how to find a venue or what's on for the day. Now, I would like to welcome you to the first session that we have on. It is our acting BFA session. Now, as a graduate of this course, I do feel quite connected to the material and the incredible people who teach it. Acting is a very special thing to build into a career, and it combines empathy, storytelling, presence, precision, vulnerability, collaboration, active listening, generosity, responsiveness, constant learning and reinnovation, and a very high tolerance for rejection and risk. But what a great place to learn those things. So a great performance can change minds. It can build empathy. It can spark conversations. And I really genuinely believe that it can change the whole world. So I'm very delighted to introduce you all to the people who taught me for today's course information session, led by John Bashford, NIDA's head of acting.
Good morning. Good morning. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you here to NIDA to hear about the acting course and what we offer our students. I would like to just take the opportunity to share with you one of the things that I really love about this job. As a team, we travel Australia. We seek out the best talent that we can possibly find, students that show demonstrate a potential from all sorts of country across Australia, and we bring them to NIDA to work with us over a period of 3 years to find their own artistry, to become the best actors that they can possibly be. So we go on to country around Australia and bring actors to these lands where we share our stories and learn to tell new ones. So I'd like to just acknowledge the Bidjigal, Gadigal, Darug and Dharawal people on whose land we share our stories, who have been storytellers for an enormous amount of time, and pay respect to elders past and present, and through our communities to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples who may be in our audience sharing this event with us today. I would like to introduce you to my team. So Nicole Stinton is our head of music.
Wow, thanks very much.
Gavin Robbins, head of movement. And Simon Masterton is our head of voice. Just before we start, we'd like to show you a little bit of a sizzle reel. What we've done is Gavin has managed to take some of the work that we do in our classrooms and on locations and so forth and put them together in a bit of a reel just to share and give you a visual sort of sense of some of the things that we do within the training. So we'll let that reel go, and then I'll give a brief overview of the acting course and try and create as much time as possible for questions. So there's a microphone down here on the auditorium right, and we'd be very happy to receive your questions. So if we can roll the tape, that would be terrific. So that gives an overview in some ways of some of the elements of the training. Ours is an embodied learning. So what that actually means is it's practice, 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 and the learning is in the doing. We teach through 4 disciplines. We teach through acting, movement, music, and voice. And for us, the teaching is a holistic training. And what that means to us is that everything interconnects and is woven through the respective disciplines. So although we have these 4 pillars, if you like, that represent our training, for us it's much more like a tapestry with the warp and weft of these various disciplines intersecting and providing the actor with a scaffolding to become their best selves. How do we do that? I'm going to break it down into the 3 years that the course takes. So the first year for us is really about the self. And what we're interested in exploring with you, the actor coming into the training, is who are you? What do you get for nothing? What do you need to work on? Alongside that, there is the engagement with technique and skills and how to acquire technique and skills, how to undo patterns of behavior that might restrict your openness to communication and to find new ways of communicating. And at the same time, we give opportunities for the skills that you've acquired to come together in scene projects, in silent etudes, in a variety of particular elements of the training that lead to, in a way, the synthesis project at the end of the first year, which is a play project. So there's always a sense in which different elements of the training are being threaded together. And there might be projects, for instance, that Nicole will lead with the singing actors and the actors around storytelling and musicality of speech. But then the actors will be drawing on elements of their training that they've acquired through Gavin's classes in terms of movement skills and through Simon's work in terms of the voice and how to use the voice in a positive way. So all these elements are really coming together at points in the training that enable the actor to synthesize those accomplishments. By the end of the first year, we hope the actors got a sense of who they are and what they've got for nothing, but also where the gaps might lie and how in their second year they can start to lean into those spaces where they may have greater challenges. We call the second year the other. So if the first year is about the self, who are you, who am I, the second year really is about the transformation. It's about how do I move from the things I get for nothing to character. So a character that might be different from myself, a character or a challenge in terms of a movement piece, or how do I work with and collaborate with other, my fellow actors. And we do that through, again, a highly structured process that scaffolds learning across the year. But we're encouraging actors to then step away from, if you like, a contemporary, maybe a naturalistic way of thinking about the world into more heightened language and text, and exploring other elements of acting training through, for instance, the difference between what's said on the surface of a text and what is being revealed underneath it through subtext. All the way through these elements of training, we are encouraging the actors to explore themselves on film. So for us, we see no difference between the actor on film or on the stage. In a way, a venue like this, the Parade Theatre, one might say in a film context, is the long shot or the wide shot. A smaller, more intimate theatre like the Belvoir in Sydney, or one of the venues in the Malthouse, for instance, in Melbourne, that might be your mid-shot. And an intimate venue like the Old Fitz or the Ensemble, for instance, might be a close-up. So from the acting point of view, what you're learning in a way is you're learning the tools that will enable you to communicate in a variety of venues, but also through a variety of media. And so we don't see a difference between screen and acting for the stage or for any other platform. It's really about how do you as the actor adapt to the lens through which you're being viewed. The second year, as I said, is about the other. We will explore heightened text and languages. So, for instance, at the moment, our second years are about to go into performance of Hamlet and The Winter's Tale, and we take those plays out into the community. We're going to Campbelltown Arts Centre on Wednesday to share those stories with young audiences from the Western Suburbs area and a variety of schools. We will do a Russian naturalism project. Gavin leads a major piece of work in the third term, which is called Embody, in which the actors devise, create physical storytelling. And at the end of the year, we come together to do 2 plays that scaffold the actors into their third year of training. And at that point, they start to work with their colleagues in other departments. So we are joined by technical and stage management students who sometimes run the room for us and work with the actors on how to engage with a technical theatre team. Those projects also intersect with our designers. So gradually through the second year, students work with other colleagues from other courses and begin to develop those relationships that they will take into their third year and actually, in real terms, out into the industry. The final year is, for us, industry year. And in that year, we're really about giving the actors as many opportunities to practice their craft in a wide variety of plays and formats so that they can really explore their technique and their skills and how they can actually tell the stories that they may encounter in the profession. So we start the year off with the Festival of Emerging Artists. This is an opportunity for them to work on short, pithy pieces of work that intersect them with the Masters of Fine Arts in Directing. And that happens in the first term. They go into their first public season, which is right now. So some of you may have booked tickets to see some of the shows that are on today. So you will see the actors in their first public showing. The third term is spent shooting short films. So some of the clips that were in the Sizzle reel there showed some of the work that shoots on location, bespoke scenes for the actors as a calling card to industry. And we round the year off with our final season of plays and showcase, at which point we're trying to invite as many industry guests, agents, casting directors, artistic directors, etc., into the building to see the work of the actors and hopefully start that conversation that will lead to them succeeding in the industry in their own time. So that's a brief overview. Is there anything anybody would like to add?
Well, that's a lot, John.
Okay, it's enough.
Why don't you talk about the singing?
Yeah.
So I can talk a little bit about the singing actor program. So within the BFA in acting, so we take 24 students a year. So and within those 24 students, around 6 of them will specialise in what we call singing actor, so sung theatre. Everybody's got to sing, and maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But so about a quarter of them, we've currently got 7 in third year, 6 in second year, and 5 in first year. And it's a nested program. So what that really means is that 4.5 days a week, the students have the same program. So whether you're a singing actor or a non-singing actor, it sounds weird because everybody sings, but anyway, they do the same course. And then one afternoon a week, the singing actors will specialise in a technical discipline in sung theatre, and the other around 18 students will specialise in other technical skills for that afternoon. So then the singing actors will work with myself and a team of industry specialists, and we will explore in more detail than what everybody does on that afternoon, acting as song, scene to song. We'll have performance workshops. There's an extra dance class. Actually, that extra dance class happens on a different day as well. There's one-to-one singing lessons. So it gives those students a real immersion if they want within their repertoire to also be able to have a long-term sustainable career in sung theatre, as well as film, as well as other forms of theatricality and the blended things we're starting to see today. So the singing actor program goes through the 3 years. So for each one of those 3 years, there'll be an afternoon a week where the singing actors specialise, and then we will always have a musical in the third year. Musical, let me redefine that. A piece of music theatre. So in this year, we've got a big musical. It's 9, which perhaps some of you might be seeing a little bit later this afternoon, and that's going to be on this stage. But in other years, we've had all kinds of different productions, more a play with singing, or something that's a little bit more contemporary, might be written in the last 5 years. So the singing style is more contemporary. It really depends on what the cohort are great at and what we want to explore with them in that production. Of course, they will also do other productions. They'll do spoken productions. They'll do film like the rest of the cohort. Is that enough of an overview?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything you want to add?
I think the only thing that I would add is that alongside what John and Nicole are talking about is another part of the training that runs from first right through to third year is to do with kind of mindset, I guess you might call it. We're training our students not just in how to perform, but in how to manage being a performer in a quite challenging industry through their lives. And so that comes through all kinds of things that happen all the way through, but let's call it training in reflection and in collaboration and self-advocacy and lots of things like that. And that's sort of fed through all of the classes they have, as well as through sort of separate activities. And in the third year, in the industry year, it becomes a little bit more about what's the way I want to present myself to the industry when I go out into it. But what we're thinking about there, I was just made to think of it through what Nicole said. We're thinking about how can we create for people the best opportunity for a sustainable career, not a career which is flash in the pan, but how do I last in this industry and still feel happy to do the thing that I love, even in the face of challenge.
Yeah, I think picking up on that, I was a student here in 1994, and I walked through the doors and I thought, wow, I'm at NIDA. And I thought, what's going to happen? And I met all of these other like-minded people. And every year I see those first years come through with that same blue sky optimism. And every year I see people graduate who have transformed as human beings because they've interrogated themselves. They've looked at their habitual patterns, movement-wise, vocally, mentally, emotionally, in order to transform and inhabit stories that matter and represent the human condition in an artful way. And that is so powerful. And I think, you know, I wish everyone could do a NIDA acting degree because it feels that there is rigor, but there's compassion. There's a sense of ensemble that drives the training. And there's a sense of constant reflection and, I suppose, looking to how do we self-actualize, and that can take many forms. The other thing I wanted to say is that we interface with industry so powerfully here, and I'm very fortunate to bring in people from Fox Studios that are on films and amazing choreographers that are traveling the world doing Billy Elliot and Matilda, and then they're in town and I say, have you got 4 weeks to come in? And they say, yeah, I'd love to. So there's a lot of industry people here that love teaching here because these students are the future of our industry, and some of the very successful students come back and we embrace them and they continue to teach. So that interface with the industry is absolutely brilliant, and it keeps me humble, it keeps us progressive, and it keeps us challenging and supporting the artists of the future.
Sorry, can I?
Yeah, go for it.
Look, there is no question that it's, this is an amazing place to be. Like, I feel very, very privileged every day to come to work here, and I think my colleagues would say the same. Like, it is awesome. It is so creative. It's so inspiring. Like, the students, I mean, you can come and talk to them afterwards in the foyer, right? We've got a table down the end here. It's exciting and it's fulfilling, and it's, you were talking about growth of students as human beings and also, of course, as artists. It's also really hard work, right? So the days are long. Students start early in the morning, 9 o'clock. Sometimes they're in here earlier doing their warm-ups and things. We'd love it if they're in here quite a lot doing their warm-ups and things at 8:30. And they'll train all the way through till 5 or 6 o'clock, depending on the year group. And then increasingly across the training, then there's more shows, or there's more film projects, or there's more other kinds of projects that will also be added to that. So it is demanding. no question. It is exhausting, no question. And again, go and check with the students afterwards, but I would love to say to you, and I think they'll verify it is so fulfilling. It is amazing to watch the students grow in so many ways and get so much out of the program. And it's an honour to be able to help facilitate that journey with them across the 3 years. It's really a remarkable place.
There's so much more we could tell you. Maybe some of that will be elicited through some questions. So I think maybe at this point in time, it'd be great if anybody wants to ask some questions. I think there's a microphone down there. Beth's there to help you. So make your way or shout loudly.
Simply speak.
All the anticipation.
Hi, my name's Sonia. I've been doing the NIDA Open screen, and yeah, it's the first. I've done a few acting courses elsewhere, but I just wanted to say that I always get the sense from your teachers that they just want the best for us, which is really great.
Are you sure you're not a plant?
No, I'm not. But I did have a question about the BFA. So I'm older. I used to have a career and I'm changing. And I'm just wondering, do you consider like older people as well, or just...
Can I jump in and answer this?
Yeah,
Because last year, I'm not going to say who it was, but I had one of the current first-year students come up to me outside and ask that, and they came up from Melbourne and looking around going, am I too old to do the training? And I said, no. I said, we encourage a diversity of age groups and of backgrounds because it's actually very healthy. Then I grabbed one of the older students from first year and I said, Brad, come here, how old are you? And then Brad came in and spoke, and then I think the person applying felt more at ease, and here they are now in first year, being pushed very hard, and they're doing really well. And I think I would say that that person is offering a maturity and a life experience that actually edifies the entire cohort.
cool. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Oliver. I'm currently a Year 12 student at Bachelor Boys, and at my school I do heaps of writing. I've written many projects that have been able to be performed, and I've directed and acted in a couple of them. And I was wondering just how much of this course, the Bachelor of Fine Arts for Acting, how much of that can you incorporate your own writing and allow for your own like inner voice to kind of be heard through your writing in production and so on?
That's a tricky one, because in a way the focus is on acting, and so by its very nature it is directed towards other people's writing. Having said that, within the screen work that you do, we encourage our students to write and develop their own material. There are two reasons for that. One is that you don't have the copyright issues that may come with trying to work with other people's material, particularly if you want to then use it in a later format. So I would tend to say that we see that sort of thing as Creative Commons. But I think there are opportunities to find expression. But I think it's also an interesting question for you in terms of, are you a writer? Are you a writer-actor? Are you an actor-writer? And that may be an interesting journey for you to explore.
Thank you so much.
Do you want to say something?
There are lots of projects right across the 3 years where students do get the opportunity to be able to create their own work. And that could be create because they're interpreting somebody else's text, i.e. a play, a published play or an unpublished play or a film script. Then there might be something where they create their own, they write their own, they might work with someone and write their own scene, and then they might realise that. Then there's a little bit of devising work that we do. For example, with the first years at the moment, I'm working on a storytelling project where they are using myths and fables and things from their own past and culture that we are then realising and developing into a piece. Next term, we're going to do verbatim theatre. Again, they will create and write in that sense. But it is, as John said, first and foremost, I think probably more than half of our texts are found texts, published text. But at the same time, there is a lot of scope for students to be able to explore writing and making through that lens always of, okay, now I am an actor, I'm going to perform this. So there's definitely a bent on that.
And oh, sorry.
I think the one other thing I maybe just wanted to say to Oliver is that yes, there may be opportunities to share your work or work on your own work and so on, but what you're not going to receive from this course is training in how to do it better. That's not the classes we offer. So if you're interested in an education in how to be a better writer, it's not the acting course. And so maybe somewhere else can help you develop that skill while we can help you share work that you create, but we can't make it better for you.
We have a writing course. It's a master's in writing. But of course, if you're coming straight from school, you'll need to go traditionally through a bachelor first before you're eligible. Although there's sometimes some interesting ways that people come from industry into that course. But being straight from school, I don't think that will be open to you. But go and speak to the writing team afterwards if you're also interested in that.
Hi, my name is A-Star. I was wondering, during the audition process, do you guys watch the full tapes during the process of elimination, or do you guys kind of mimic the industry casting way where you guys just watch a few seconds of it?
I can only speak for myself. I watch the lot because you've put effort into it. And it's incumbent on me in my role to see the changes. And sometimes the change or a choice that an actor makes might be in the last 10 seconds of a video. And if we've gone 10 seconds and stopped, I'm not going to see the choice and the discovery that you've made. And that might be the little thing that goes, oh, there's something going on here. There's an inner life that's being revealed. There's an imaginative connection. So from my point of view, I will watch the tape all the way through. What we do, and it's a great question to ask, what we do with our audition tapes is we have a wide and diverse group of people who watch the videos. So basically when applicants submit their videos, we have teams of 2 who will watch the first and the second video, and they will make an assessment on those videos based on, is there a demonstration of inner life? Is there an imaginative connection? There's a variety of things that people will look for. And then as a result of that, we will, as a team, if there's any doubt, we will, as a team, look at the videos from candidates and make a judgment call. So really and truly, we encourage our teams to watch the whole video.
But make the first 10 seconds really cool, though.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Saloni. I have 2 questions. My first question kind of adds on to the last one. You mentioned looking out for some things in the video. I just wanted to kind of ask what those things might be, because it's hard to just let your personality shine through, or let the panel get a sense of who you are through the 1 minute or the couple of monologues that you are performing.
What do you think?
Go, son.
I'll start. I'm sure that the others will chip in. What we're looking for, I think, is change, is the ability to reveal the fact that you can change, whether that's to transform and be different in the 2 pieces that you're submitting, but also to find change within the piece, what's changing for the character. That really matters. We're not looking for expert voice use or expert movement or expert musicianship if people are applying for the singing actor course. What we're looking for is people who seem really alive to the text in their voice, in the way they use their voice and relate to the language, in their body, in the way that they relate to the space around them, and also to some extent the camera. And though that is maybe our definition in a way of what potential is or what talent is, it's an aliveness to the work that you're sharing with people, and absolutely a rich imaginative and emotional life as well.
And definitely for difference, right? There is no one thing we're looking. You might do the same piece as somebody else in the line behind you, but we're looking for the way that you do that particular monologue, how you bring creativity, how you have an imaginative inner life, but also then what that means in your body and in your voice whilst on camera. So there is no set thing. In fact, we're kind of anti that. We want 24 people who are yes, creative, yes, imaginative, yes, able to change and grow, whether that's within a piece or that we can see potential across 3 years, but who are also very different to each other. I mean, Gavin alluded to it before when he was talking about, you know, perhaps if you're older, if you've gone and trained in something else, that doesn't mean that you can't put your hand up and have a shot at coming here. We would welcome that. So it's about doing you the best you. It is hard. We recognise it's hard. You could spend 10 seconds. I wouldn't spend any more than 10 seconds at the beginning, you know, saying hello, and rather than hello, my name's Nicole and I'm very scared. But, you know, like you could bring a little bit of personality in. Don't give us an essay. Just a little introduction, and then we're more enthusiastic to see, what is this person going to bring in their first monologue and their second monologue?
Yeah, and I think select a monologue that absolutely resonates with you, that you can feel emotionally, imaginatively connected to as a human being. And so then you're authentically engaged in it, and then we will see you. But if you're doing something that feels a little bit, I think this might impress them, and you're doing it for us in a way, you're outside of it. So try and find something that you really resonate with and that shows an emotional journey. So the character starts here and they end here. And what we will enjoy is watching that emotional, imaginative transformation.
Got it. Sorry. And my second question is just, if you apply to be a singer-actor, is there a chance that you're accepted for the course but not as a singer-actor?
Yes. So I think this year there'll be a choice of 2 options when you go to apply for the BFA acting, singing acting. But know that if you tick singing acting, we always look at you for both anyway. So cast a wide net if you're interested potentially in specialising in that as well. We will look at both, even if you don't know we're looking at both, for you for both.
It wouldn't hinder the chances, would it? Okay.
Not at all.
Oh, good. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Miranda. I was just wondering, because you haven't really touched on it, in the reel that you showed at the beginning, there was a lot of these like little combat scenes and like, you know, fighting. Is that something you do a lot here, and is it very different to like real combat in real life, because you don't actually want to hurt the person when you're acting?
Good acting.
No, we don't.
We hope
don't
not.
make contact in that way. It is all make believe. But ultimately, I suppose we do a lot of partner dance work, and so when we introduce the combat work, firstly, the actors have worked with each other in social dances and Latin dance. They learn to make eye contact. They learn to make a frame that supports each other. They dance together, and then they have that experience before they then hold a sword at a distance, and they make eye contact and they work with the energy of the parry and response to this. So then they'll work with unarmed combat, and yes, there's a process of work, but it's very different to actual combat or martial arts where you're actually making contact.
And are there a lot of like those kind of classes here that you do?
It's a part of the movement training. I probably just emphasized it on the Sizzle reel because it looks cool.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. The other thing I think that's worth thinking about is, as Gavin just said, you start off with some partner dance, you then move into some parkour and so forth. Even within a discipline like fighting and combat, what you're actually also training is giving and receiving. So it can have its application in text, it can have its application in music, it can have its application in all sorts of ways. It means that you're able to actually receive what's coming towards you and actually respond as well, so that there's a sense in which you're building connection to perhaps your scene partner. But we can use that mechanism of the combat you know, as an example, but then it's as much, it's as applicable to perhaps a scene where you need a great deal of wit and speed of thought.
And I just would like to add to that that something you didn't see in the Sizzle reel is that we also train the actors in vocal combat. So how to scream and how to grunt and growl convincingly and how to tell stories just with your voice about violence. And the actors seem to love that, because I never see a show now where there isn't some screaming in that's healthily produced, which I'm always very grateful for. If you're watching Checklist today, I'm not sure if there's one of those on in the matinee, Checklist for an Armed Robber, there's some great examples of vocal combat in that.
All right, thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
I think we've just got one more question, time for one more before the end of the session.
Lovely.
Hi, my name's Kate. I just have a sort of more broad question, I suppose, sort of what is the best advice you have or that you've received about the industry in general, as, you know, it's quite the industry to go into and, you know, it can be tough and all kinds of things, but just what advice would you give?
We could have a whole session on that, couldn't we?
Yeah. Get some friends around you that you can share work with. Build a group of friends whose opinions you trust. Keep your curiosity. See as much work as you possibly can. Be curious about human beings. Look after yourself. And in a place like NIDA, one of the most exciting things about this building is that along the corridors there are costumiers, there are fabulous properties and effects makers, there are brilliant staging and machinists, there are fabulous directors, there are writers, there are lighting designers, there are sound operators, there are extraordinary people in this building. You build a network and you build a tribe, if you like, of fellow like-minded artists that can then perhaps come and help you generate your own material and generate your own projects. And that's something that is part and parcel of the work that we do in the course. We encourage our actors to leave the building to have some facility and ability to be self-generating artists, to be able to plan forward and think about, well, I may not be getting the traction that I want right now, but I know that if I actually get my people around me, I've got a project and we're going to bring that to fruition over there. And I think that's one of the key things, particularly in today's industry, is there will be a lot of coffee that will have to be served. There were a lot of meals I had to serve. And that's okay, because actually at the end of the day, I knew I was going to do a play at a particular venue at a particular time. So it's looking after yourself, your own health, well-being, mental health, gathering the people around you, and seek out the people that you're interested in working with. Build relationships.
And it's a small industry and it's a wonderful industry. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Is that it?
So because that was the last question, we are very, very excited to be able to answer your questions. We're going to be in the foyer. There's a table down the end, I alluded to it before. So please come down and ask us your questions. There's also students there who are current students and also graduates there. So you may be able, maybe you'll get the real story from them rather than us. Please do come and chat to us. There's also workshops and showings over in what we call RR2, Rehearsal Room 2, which is upstairs and down the other end of the building. There's a movement one very soon. There's a singing actor one. We've got other things happening. So please do come and investigate and reach out to us and chat to us or to one of the team. We'd really welcome having that conversation with you. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Oh, you're a mum.
Well done, team.
Thank you, everybody.